What is up, guys? Fatal82 coming at you with a weekly Rust update video. A small patch did hit the main game this week, consisting primarily of some performance improvements and some anti-hack fixes, so it wasn't very forward-facing, but the team is over on the pre-release branch getting the experience system up and running and out the door. We'll be seeing it on July the 7th, and this is some footage of the pre-release branch. I'm going to save my overall impressions and review of the experience system until I'm able to test it out for one full week when it's on a main server. I'm going to not really be able to understand how it's affecting the game until I can see it at that point. But in terms of playing with it on the pre-release branch, it definitely will make that early game feel a lot more extended, I believe. And you're definitely not going to be seeing AKs and bolties on day one anymore. It's going to be something that's going to take a little bit longer to get there. So in short, so everybody's on the same page, the experience system is replacing the blueprint system. No more BP fragments, no more blueprints, and you don't have to be concerned with that anymore. In place of that is experience, and experience will be something that will be managed through a very intuitive crafting menu / experience menu here, which you access through your inventory screen. And this is where you're going to do things like change out skins for items, craft items, learn items. It's one-stop shopping, and it's a very elegant and beautiful interface. This, even separate from the experience system itself, is a very beautiful thing that's going to make Rust feel a lot better. So the overall experience system, guys, is going to be something where you get the points by gathering resources, crafting items. That's basically it in its first iteration. As it progresses, things will have much deeper layers and nuances. It will extend out to ownership of items, but then also ownership in terms of the resources that were used to collect those items. To illustrate object ownership, Helk gives us the example of a hatchet that's crafted by resources gathered from another player. In this instance, 80% of the ownership goes to the person who crafted the hatchet, and 20% of the ownership goes to the person who gathered the resources. What this means is not that the person who gathered the resources will get anything given back to them invisibly. It simply means that experience will be distributed, so as players do different things in the landscape, they all have different experience point values. So hitting a barrel has a lower value than killing a bear. And as this happens, the experience will be divided, with a majority going to the person who crafted the item, but a small portion always going back to the person who supplied the resources. This is a very fair method, and I find this very interesting, and I like how this could guide communal behavior. Helk talks about this being iterated upon further, where, for instance, campfires could give returns always to the person who crafted the campfire, whereas players will gain experience from cooking food on the campfire, but the person who place the campfire will always gain a return as it's used. So I really like this. It will always feel like Rust. They're not doing anything to force player behavior, but they're giving reward for behavior that is less antisocial, and I find that very interesting. And that's an offset of this experience system that may be intentional. Well, it seems like it very much is intentional from the way that it's being implemented, but I find that very interesting, and let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about that aspect. You will notice some other very sexy menus in addition to that nice new crafting interface when the experience system goes live in Rust, and it will have much more detailed descriptions about these very sort of ambiguous things that we don't always know what they mean, so you guys will be able to choose what you want to enable. Motion blur will be enabled by default when the experience system goes live, so if you guys don't like that, if it makes you a bit sick like it does for me, you can go ahead and disable that. In terms of biomes, they will be receiving some nice iterations and performance improvements, and they will look a hell of a lot better. Ugly trees are going to be removed in place of the beautiful looking and gnarly looking trees, and you can see how the landscapes are looking more distinct as day turns to night there. It really looks more distinct, and biomes might get more of their own flair as that happens. Names and heavy armor are receiving an overhaul here, and names you will be seeing a bit brighter as the experience system hits, and heavy armor is on the way. We saw some more progression on that concept artwork. As always, guys, hope you enjoyed this week's Rust update video. Fatal82, peace.